What's up, guys? It's your boy Paul here, coming at you with another video today. Look, what I want to talk to you guys about today, with learning and with work, it must equal love, okay? So just think about this. How much time in your life are you going to spend doing one of the two things, either working or love? I mean, either working or learning. It's going to be the vast majority of the time that you spend here on earth and like what you're doing while you're living. So let's take it. So if we're sleeping a third of our lives and we're working 8 hours a day as well, so that's another third of our lives, except we're going to say we're going to work for 40 years and let's say we live till 80. So it's going to be half of that. So not quite a third of our lives there, but a majority of our life. But if you factor in learning as well as work, well, then that covers the first 20, 21 years of your life as well. So it does work out to be about a third. And then whatever learning you do outside of when you're working. So you can see that you got sleep, it's a third, and then work and learning, it's probably another third or even a little bit more than a third at least. So if for one part, if one third of our life we're, unconscious, this part we are spending with friends, it's a little less than a third, but spending with friends, doing whatever. And then this other main section of our lives where we're learning and working. This is the section that I want to talk about today and why you must love what you do. Otherwise, you will not exceed well. You may do it fine, but again, this is for those who are wanting to kind of take their life to another level with whatever it is that they're doing. So notice this trend as well. It's like any of the greats in writing or singing or sports or in business. There's a one word that makes me think for when those people are at their best, and it's passion. Okay, that one word I see in all the greats across every realm. It's passion. And how do you have passion for something? Passion is rooted in love. Okay, and this is why I'm making the argument that you must love to be great at something. Because think about how many other people you're competing with, whether it's writing or singing or sports or business, whatever it is. If you're just doing the thing just to do the thing because you're good at it, you're never going to be one of the greats. Never. All of the greats love and therefore have a passion for what they're doing. Meaning they're willing to go above and beyond. They're willing to put in extra time. Why? Because it's not work to them. Because it's love to them. It is love. So the amount of knowledge that you retain as well, let's just take for when you're learning. You ever tried like reading a book or taking a class and you just do not like either the professor or the subject? How much of that have you retained to this day? Probably not a whole lot. Now you may remember some of the things that the professor said because you're like, don't like you. Okay, now let's take this example as well. How many of you guys loved the subject but had an awful professor? How much did that have a negative experience on you with that time of your life for that class? It has quite a bit of a negative experience. Why? Because that professor didn't love what they were doing, therefore it had a negative impact on even a subject that you do love. Now, let's take the opposite. How many had a subject that they didn't really love, but they had a teacher who had passion and they loved what they were doing? And therefore they were like, hey, this class wasn't that bad. And I actually do remember a lot of the stuff. Passion, passion, passion. And that's rooted in love. Now look, if you want to be able to influence people, like influence too, what I've noticed with influence is that when people are influencing others, it's because they're convinced. Okay, when you're able to speak from a position of confidence, that can convince other people to do things. Now, who are the greatest speakers of all time? Let's take even different spiritual leaders. Even though, like I myself am a Christian, let's just look at all the different spiritual leaders. What's one thing that they all had in common? Passion, backed up with confidence, right? And so when you have those two, you love what you're doing, therefore it produces passion, and you're confident, so your ability to persuade. Passion and persuasion gets people to do incredible things. It gets people to commit their life solely to a cause or to a belief or whatever the thing may be. And so I want you to think about this for wherever you're at in life right now, and you ask yourself, am I doing what I love to do? Like what I love to do. When I wake up, do I get excited about what I'm going towards? Right? When I'm having to study on this subject, am I loving this? Do I get passionate about speaking about this subject? Do I get excited if I hear someone else talking about this subject? Does it get my insides going? Can I talk to others about it for an hour or 2 hours, just straight conversation about what it is that I do? Look, for being excellent at anything, you need passion, which is rooted in love for that thing. Now, this is another thing that I want to say as well. When you're doing whatever things that you're doing, like let's say that you're learning a subject or that class is necessary to get to your end goal, or let's say you're doing what you love, but at this particular time it's not that fun. Let me say this. There are so many boring and tedious things that you have to do along the way. So don't misinterpret what I'm saying when it comes to doing what you love, because there's no way that 100% of the time we're going to enjoy every single moment that we're doing the stuff. Like I know for me, whenever I took a financial accounting class here in college, I was like, I get it and I'm doing well, but there's no way that I could get passionate about looking at this stuff. Like I'm 100% gonna hire an accountant to do this. That's what I did when I had my landscaping business. I don't get passionate about it, but serves the bigger picture of me understanding business, me looking at profit and losses and everything like that, right? And so sometimes you do have to bite the bullet in the midst of doing the thing that you love. I think about this too whenever I play basketball. I wanted to do it to the best of my ability, right? Now, was going out and running for 30 or 40 minutes a joy to me? No, not at all. I actually did track and field during the spring. That way it could help me train for when I was doing basketball. I threw the discus back in high school, but I asked the track coach if I could run with the 800 meter group and just train with them, because I wanted to get my conditioning up going into senior year, knowing that I would have a lot on my shoulders for responsibility. And I was running with cross country runners, and I am 30, 35 pounds more than the typical cross country runner. And so that was quite the experience for me. So did I love that? No, but to serve the bigger vision, to serve the bigger purpose, and I loved what we were able to do my senior year. I was able to lead them well. I would play like 30 out of 32 minutes, and I loved every second of that. I loved how I didn't get tired with that or anything like that. So take inventory of where you are at in your life right now, and to do anything less than what you love is a waste. Not only to yourself, but I think to those around you as well. And here's my reason for saying that. You individually have a gift that God has given you to serve here on this earth. And when you're not doing the thing at which you were created for and meant to do, you're robbing people around you of that gift in particular that the Lord blessed you with. And so I think about it, sometimes it is easier not to do the thing that we know that we're gifted with, because look, Sometimes we don't want the spotlight on us. Sometimes, we don't want to have to do all the work. Maybe because your gift would require like a lot of responsibility to come with it, because you're going to be leading people. And you're like, look, I just don't want to really have all that responsibility. So I'm content with this management position right here, because I only have to watch over 2 people than rather than being up here, which would mean that I'm watching over 50, right? Let's say you're an artist. I don't want to put out the work. I don't want to deal with criticism. I'm just gonna do my thing, and I'll draw some of my own, whatever, or I'll sing like a little bit on my own, but I'm not gonna do it for people. Look, you've been gifted with a very, very special gift. I have no idea what that is. You probably have an indication as to what you are gifted with in specific, and you may have multiple gifts. You may have like 10 different gifts, and like the Lord's really blessed you with that. If so, utilize those 10 gifts. I've talked about it before, talking about being a steward. Be a steward of those 10 gifts. One thing that I've come to realize with this is like, when it comes to like me with my life, I think that there are a lot of things in me that I know He's blessed me with, but that I was hesitant on to move forward with, because for me, there's a lot of the responsibility, there's a lot of like the notoriety and the leadership and all that stuff, and that's not always like fun or easy to deal with, right? But here's the thing. You will always, going back to the original topic, you will always be most satisfied when you're doing with what you were gifted to do. When you are acting in your element of the gifts that God's given you, you will always have the most satisfaction in that moment. That doesn't mean everything's going to be good, by the way. That doesn't mean everything is going to be good. There will be tribulation, but where your soul's content, like you're going to be doing the thing that you're meant to do. Just quick example. Let's take sports. People who play sports. Are they going to experience joy all the time? Dude, they experience hardships like crazy. Sometimes it's an injury, sometimes it's a huge loss, sometimes it's a huge humiliation. So just know that even when you're acting in your element, you're still going to get the hardship. So don't confuse what I'm saying that you will be, the most joyed when you're doing those things. It's just overall. So take inventory of where you are at in life right now, and are you currently acting in congruence with what you know your gifts are and what you love? If not, here's what I would suggest to you. I don't know financially what it would do to you if you were to leave the current spot that you're doing right now, but at the very least, on the side, start to put the gift out to the world. Look, in business all the time, they talk about not doing, multiple things, focus on one thing, and I 100% agree with that. But one of the reasons why I simply started these videos is not to get famous, not to get a lot of notoriety, anything like that. Look, I feel like I can share some good insights, and I do enjoy speaking, right? I do enjoy teaching others. I know that that's a passion of mine. And so for me, it's all about that one person. I'm talking to you right now, and you're watching this video, and this is why I'm doing these videos, because it's look, if I'm learning all this knowledge, and I feel like He's gifted me with an ability to teach, then I got to put it out there, if it's going to affect one person. So in this, for me, produces joy. This, for me, produces excitement, especially in these early stages, because I know I'm going to look back at these videos and be like, wow, that was the beginning, So I'm just trying to encourage you. You must love what you do if you're going to do it well. Don't waste. Life is seriously too short to spend your time learning things or just working towards a vision and a goal that you just don't align with, that doesn't get you passion for anything that you stand on. This is my opinion. It should be such a belief in that you're passionate about that you're trying to bring others on board, right? Now, it doesn't mean everyone will see you, but that's the level in which I want to see your passion. I want to see your love for the thing that you're doing. And if you notice that right now you're having the hardest time with doing like any like work or progressing, ask yourself, do I love it? Like do I love what I'm currently doing? And also check, okay, is this like a little milestone that I have to cross in order to work to the thing that I love? Like, is it one of those things, or am I like altogether working for something that I don't love right now? But you got to ask yourself that question. Am I working on something or working towards something that I love? And then you may be surprised if your answer is no. You may be like, maybe that's why I haven't been, performing to what I know is the best of my ability. Maybe that's why I'm not, producing the kind of results that I know I need to produce. Or maybe that's why my life hasn't really affected too many people, because I'm acting outside of my element. I'm walking away from the gifts that, I've been giving. So I hope that made sense. If you want to do anything well in life, you must love what you do, which produces passion. So take that in response with working and learning. Those are the main two contexts that I want to see you apply it with. So look, if this video helped, if this spoke to you in any way, shape, or form, please tell me. Please tell me how, what area of the video, was it overall, was it a specific thing that I said? Do you recognize currently where you're at in life right now, and like that you're not doing the thing that you love? Again, I want to hear all that down in the comments below. As always, if you know someone who could use this video as well, if you feel like maybe they're not maybe doing something that they love, or maybe the fact that they are doing something that they love, that this would reaffirm them in the thing that they're doing. And hit the like button if this helped as well. Share it with whomever, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right, see you guys.